Okay, this video is to help you with the lesson Solving Quadratic Equations using the Quadratic Formula. Okay, you've been solving quadratic equations with factoring. Okay, factoring the left side, setting each factor equal to 0. Okay, but there's another way you can solve a quadratic formula. A quadratic equation. Okay, you can use the quadratic formula instead. And what you do, okay, here it is, here in the middle of the page. You just take the a and the b and the c. Okay, the a is in front of x squared. The b is the number in front of x, and the c is your number with no x. You just take those three numbers, whatever they are, and you put them into this formula, okay, and you just simplify it. Okay, it's kind of tricky at first, okay, but it gets better. Okay, you will get exactly the same answers for that particular problem as you would if you factored it. Okay, but the reason why we want to be able to use this is if the left-hand side cannot be factored, you can't find the solutions to the problem. Okay, but you can always find the solution. Even if the left side can't be factored, you can always find the solution using the quadratic formula. Okay, so let's just do some examples. Okay, the first example, solve 2x squared minus 7x plus 3 equals 0 using the quadratic formula. Okay, notice on the right, I went ahead and gave you the solution that you would have gotten if you would have used factoring. Okay, because you can factor the left-hand side. Okay, but let's do this with the quadratic formula. First thing I would do is figure out what a, b, and c are. Okay, a is the number in front of x squared. It's 2. B is the number in front of x. It's a negative 7. Okay, it's a negative 7. C is the number with no x. It's 3. Okay, so all I'm going to do is put all of these numbers into this formula. Okay, and simplify. This first part, this says negative b. Think of that as the opposite of b. The opposite of b. So that would be the opposite of negative 7. Okay, so that's 7 plus or minus. You may not have seen that before. I'm not sure. Okay, b squared. I'm going to put b in the negative 7 in for b. Square it. Minus 4. I'm just putting the numbers in. A is 2. C is 3. All over 2 times A. Okay, A in this problem is the 2. So I put that in there. Okay, you're just putting the numbers in really carefully. And then I would focus on the square root first. Focus on simplifying the square root first. Okay, now notice when you're inside the square root, you have exponents and you have multiplication. So when you're inside the square roots, you got to do the exponents first and then the multiplication. Okay, then the add or subtract at the end. Okay, so I'm just kind of focusing on the square root. Exponent first. Negative 7 times negative 7 is 49. Okay, I did that first. Now I'm going to look at the 4 times 2 times 3. Okay, 4 times 2 times 3, the multiplication. Okay, 8 times 3 is 24. So that's minus 24. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and do 2 times 2 on the bottom, 4. Okay, I'm still inside the square root. 49 minus 24. Okay, that is 25. So I have 7 plus or minus the square root of 25. Okay, that's all over 4. Okay, now notice the square root of 25. Okay, I can figure that out. Okay, that's why we could have used factoring to do this problem, because we're not getting a square root that is irrational. Okay, so we know that the square root of 25 is 5. So I'm going to change this to 7 plus or minus 5 over 4. Okay, once I get there, and guys, this takes practice. It really does. It just takes practice. Once I get here, all I need to do is find 7 plus 5 over 4 and 7 minus 5 over 4. Okay, 7 plus 5 is 12. 12 over 4. Okay, that simplifies to 3. Okay, 7 minus 5 over 4. 7 minus 5 is 2. You have the 4 on the bottom, 2/4. Of course, you could reduce that to 1/2. Okay, there's my two solutions, 3 and 1/2. Okay, and those are the two solutions you would have gotten if you would have done this with factoring. Okay, let me go over one more problem where you are not going to be able to use it, to have solved it with factoring. Okay, last one. Okay, solve 3x squared plus 5x minus 7 equals 0. Okay, first, A, B, C. A is 3, B is 5, and C is negative 7. Okay, I'm going to write down the quadratic formula again. And I'm going to replace A, B, and C with the numbers you see above. Okay, that first part, negative B. Think of it as the opposite of B. Okay, the opposite of 5 is negative 5. Okay, inside the square root, B squared. Okay, 5 is B. Okay, then I have minus 4 times A is 3 times C is negative 7. All over 2 times A is 3. Okay, I'm simplifying, working with the square root first. And I'll usually just go ahead and do 2 times 3 just because I can as I'm doing the square root. Okay, when you're doing the square root, inside the square root, exponents before multiplication. So 5 squared is 25. Okay, when you're multiplying, I kind of maybe do this a different way. I try to think of this as just a negative 4 times 3 times negative 7, and think of this as added to the 25. Okay, you don't have to think of it that way, but that's what I do. A negative 4 times 3 times negative 7. Okay, two negatives make a positive. So I'm going to get a positive 84 using my calculator. Okay, 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, keep going. 25 plus 84. 24 is 109. All over 6. Okay, see, I don't know what the square root of 109 is. Okay, that means two things. Well, first of all, it means that my answers are going to be irrational. But it also means that I could not have done this with factoring, I promise. The left-hand side of that original problem could not have been factored down. Okay, otherwise we would have gotten a rational number here instead of an irrational. Okay, so what you want to do is just use your calculator, find the square root of 109. I'm going to say round to the 100th to be safe because I'm not sure exactly how accurate IXL is going to be with this. So I'm going to round that to 10.44. Okay, then I'm going to just figure out negative 5 plus 10.44, it's an approximation, over 6. And negative 5 minus 10.44, all over 6. Now it's just using your calculator to do both of these. Okay, 10.44 plus a negative 5 is 5.44 over 6. And I'm getting about 0.90666. Okay, if I'm going to round this to the 100th, I'm going to make it 0.91. So approximately 0.91. Okay, negative 5 minus 10.44. Let's see, is a negative 15.44 approximately, divided by 6 is a negative 2. I'm getting 0.57333333. I'm just going to put 0.57 rounded to the hundredth. Okay, so when you get when you're doing the quadratic formula and you get a square root that can't be, that you don't know what it is because it's irrational, just round it to the hundredth, at least for IXL, and then just evaluate from there. Okay, guys, this takes lots of practice. This is just a bird's eye. Miss Spoljaric's, she's going to do some different things with this, but I'm just trying to get you kind of an introduction to this. Let me know if you have any questions at all.